Miss Mira, will you marry my daddy?" The words came out barely louder than a breath, but they hit Mira Santos like a thunderclap. She froze, chalk still pressed to the board, because those were the first words Juno Kang had spoken in 2 years. The other children didn't notice. They were still coloring, still humming, still being 5 and 6 and 7 years old, but Mira's heart was slamming against her ribs. She turned slowly. Juno stood behind her, small hands clutching a crayon drawing, dark eyes enormous in his pale face. He looked terrified of his own voice. "What did you say, sweetheart?" She knelt down, keeping her tone soft, terrified of spooking him back into silence. He swallowed hard. Then, with visible effort, he whispered again. "Marry my daddy, so the bad men can't find you." Quote 2 Juno, quote 3. "What bad men?" Quote 4. "The one who watches you. In the black car. He scares you, I can tell." Underscore. Quote underscore 5 underscore. "I'm okay, Juno. You don't need to worry about me." Quote 6. "Daddy can protect you. He protects everyone. He's very rich and very scary. The bad men would go away." She almost laughed. Almost. But there was nothing funny about the desperate sincerity in his eyes, or the fact that he'd broken 2 years of selective mutism to try to save her. "That's very brave of you, but I can't just marry someone because—" "Please," his voice cracked. "I don't want you to disappear like Mommy did. I'm not going anywhere, okay? I promise." The classroom door opened. Mira looked up, expecting the assistant teacher. Instead, a man stood in the doorway. Tall, immaculate charcoal suit, face carved from ice and shadows, eyes that swept the room like he was cataloging threats. When they landed on Mira, on her arms wrapped around his son, something flickered. She'd seen photos of Kang Do-hyun, of course, the tech billionaire, the ghost CEO who never gave interviews, never attended galas, never let anyone close. The tabloids loved to speculate about him. Cold, they said, ruthless, possibly a robot in human skin. They hadn't mentioned that his gaze could pin you in place like a butterfly on a board. "Juno!" His voice was low, controlled. "Your appointment." Juno didn't let go of Mira. Instead, he looked up at his father and said, out loud, for the first time in 2 years in front of another adult, "Daddy, this is Miss Mira. I asked her to marry you." The silence that followed could have cracked glass. Do-hyun's expression didn't change, not visibly, but Mira saw his shoulders stiffen, saw his hand tighten on the doorframe. "Is that so?" he said. "Flat. Unreadable." Juno nodded vigorously. "She has bad men chasing her, like in my storybooks. She needs a protector. You're good at protecting. Bad men, it's nothing, a misunderstanding. Your son has a vivid imagination." "My son hasn't spoken in 2 years. He spoke to you about bad men. That is not imagination. The vehicle outside, registration, driver, how long it's been there." The man nodded and vanished. Mira's pulse spiked. "You don't have to." Quote 25. "My son asked you to marry me to keep you safe." Quote 26. "Either you're in danger, in which case I need to know, or you've manipulated a traumatized child into speaking so you could access his father, in which case I also need to know. I would never use a child." "Then explain the car. It's complicated," she said finally. "Simplify it." Juno tugged her hand. "Tell him, Miss Mira. Daddy fixes everything." God, she wanted to believe that. She'd stopped believing anyone could fix anything the night Ryan had broken her wrist and then cried about it for an hour while she splinted it herself. But Juno was looking at her with such desperate hope, and Do-yun was looking at her with such cold calculation, and the black car was still outside, and she was so tired of running. "My ex-fiancé," she said. "He's a cop, American. He's been tracking me for 8 months. I left because he was—" She stopped. The words stuck. "Violent," Do-yun finished. "Not a question." "Yes." She waited for the doubt, the skepticism, the "well, what did you do to provoke him?" that she'd heard 100 times. Do-yun turned to the doorway. Another man appeared. How many did he have? "Bring the car's driver to my office. Do not damage him yet. Quote 37. See? Daddy's helping." Do-yun crouched down to his son's level. The movement was stiff, like he wasn't used to it, but his voice softened. "You did well, Juno. You spoke. I'm proud of you. Does that mean she can marry you? That means we're going to have a conversation." Do-yun stood, looked at Mira. "After school, my driver will bring you to the house. Don't go to your apartment. I can't just—" "The man in that car has been there for 6 hours. He followed you from your building this morning. He knows where you live. You will not go back there." It wasn't a request. She should have been angry. She was angry somewhere beneath the fear. But she was also exhausted and terrified. And for the first time in 8 months, someone with actual power was saying, "I see the threat, and I will handle it." She nodded once. Do-yun turned to leave, then paused. "Miss Santos." He didn't look back. "My son chose you. That means something to me. Don't make me regret trusting it. Quote 46, you're safe now." She looked down at the small boy who'd shattered his own silence to try to save her. "We'll see, brave one, we'll see. If you believe in second chances and new beginnings, take a moment to like and subscribe. This story is only getting started. The Kong estate wasn't a house. It was a fortress disguised as architecture, glass and steel and gardens that probably cost more than Mira would earn in a lifetime. Security cameras tracked her from the gate. Armed guards stood at intervals she was trained enough to notice. The driver who'd collected her hadn't spoken once. He opened the door, gestured toward the entrance, and melted back into the shadows like he'd never existed. Mira straightened her spine and walked in. The foyer could have swallowed her entire apartment building. A woman in a crisp uniform bowed. "Miss Santos, Mr. Kang is expecting you in his study. This way." She followed, cataloging exits out of habit. 2 years of living with a cop had taught her to always know where the doors were. The study was warm where she'd expected cold. Wood panels, soft lighting, bookshelves covering every wall. Do-yun sat behind a massive desk, laptop open, but his eyes were on her the moment she entered. "Sit." She considered refusing just to prove she wasn't intimidated. Then she sat, because her legs were shaking and pride was expensive. "Ryan Mills," Do-yun said, without preamble. "Detective, Los Angeles Police Department, decorated, commended. 2 excessive force complaints, both dismissed. Engaged to Amira Santos for 18 months. Engagement ended 8 months ago. She disappeared. He took leave to find her." Mira's stomach dropped. "You already know everything." "I know facts. I want context." He leaned back. "Why did you run instead of reporting him?" "I did report him." The words came out bitter. 3 times. First time, the officer taking my statement went to high school with Ryan. Second time, Internal Affairs called it a domestic dispute and suggested couples counseling. Third time, I had a broken wrist, a black eye, and a restraining order that got denied because Ryan's captain testified I was emotionally unstable. So I ran, because the system that was supposed to protect me was his system, and I decided I'd rather disappear than die waiting for someone to believe me. Silence. Do-yoon's expression hadn't changed, but something in his posture shifted. Less predator assessing prey, more predator deciding which threat to eliminate first. "He found you anyway," he said. "He always does. He's obsessed. Not with me, not really. With winning. I'm property he lost. He can't stand it. You're not property." The words came sharp, unexpected. "I know that." She tilted her head. "Do you?" He didn't answer. Instead, he pulled a folder from his desk and slid it toward her. "My security team intercepted your ex 2 hours ago. He's been detained. Seoul police are questioning him about his illegal surveillance of a foreign national. His department has been notified. He'll be on a plane back to the States by morning." Mira stared at the folder. Inside were photos. Ryan in handcuffs. Ryan in an interrogation room. Ryan looking furious and small, and not at all like the monster who'd haunted her dreams for 2 years. Her hands trembled. How? Money and connections applied correctly. Do-yoon's voice was flat. "He'll fight extradition, try to come back. I've already filed for a protective order through Korean courts. My lawyers are coordinating with contacts in the U.S. to push for a full investigation into his department. It won't be quick, but it will be thorough. Why are you doing this? You don't even know me." My son spoke for the first time in 2 years to ask me to protect you. Do-hyun stood, moved around the desk. He stopped in front of her, close enough that she had to look up. "Juno has seen 23 specialists. None of them could reach him. You did. In 3 months, you did what years of therapy couldn't. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in evidence. The evidence says you matter to my son. That makes you valuable." Valuable? The word tasted wrong. To Juno? He didn't correct her. She stood abruptly, suddenly needing distance. "I'm not a transaction. I'm not something you can acquire because your son attached to me. I'm not trying to acquire you. I'm trying to keep you alive. There's a difference, is there? Because from where I'm standing, this looks like another man deciding what's best for me without asking. What would you want me to ask? How about, Mira, what do you need? How about, what can I do that would actually help? How about treating me like a person with agency instead of a problem to be solved? Quote, 81 Mira, what do you need? Quote, 82, I need to work. Quote, 83, I need to pay my own way. I need to not feel like I'm hiding again. He nodded slowly. You could continue at the school. My security would monitor discreetly. Or, he paused. Juno's therapist recommended a full-time educational companion, someone consistent, patient, trusted. He's formed a bond with you. If you're willing, the position is yours. You'd live here in the guest wing, full salary, independence within the arrangement. And if Ryan comes back, then he meets the same wall again, and again, and again, until he understands that you're not alone anymore. One condition, name it. I'm not a charity case. I work. I pay rent, even if it's symbolic. I keep my own bank account, my own phone, my own life outside these walls. Agreed. Welcome to the Kong household, Miss Santos. Does this mean she said yes? I said yes to being your teacher, Juno, that's all. For now, he said wisely. Daddy's slow, but he'll figure it out. Do-hyun's expression didn't change, but Mira could have sworn she saw his mouth twitch. 3 weeks passed. Mira fell into a rhythm she hadn't known she was craving. Mornings, breakfast with Juno in the sunny kitchen, where he practiced speaking in small, careful sentences, each one a victory. Afternoons, lessons in the library, reading, puzzles, art therapy techniques she'd learned from his specialists. Evenings, quiet dinners where Do-hyun appeared when he could, always tired, always watching her with those unreadable eyes. The house stopped feeling like a fortress. It started feeling like something dangerous. Home. She was reading to Juno one evening when Do-hyun found them. The boy had fallen asleep against her shoulder, breath soft and even, face relaxed in a way she'd never seen during waking hours. Do-hyun stood in the doorway, jacket off, tie loosened, looking more human than she'd ever seen him. He sleeps better when you're here. He feels safe with you. I'm not special. I'm just consistent. He knows I'll be here tomorrow. That's all he needs. You underestimate yourself. His therapist says he's made more progress in 3 weeks than in the last 2 years. He's initiating conversation, asking questions, making eye contact. She asked what changed. What did you tell her? That I finally listened to him. He chose you. I should have trusted that from the beginning. You're thinking very loudly, Do-hyun observed. She laughed softly. Sorry, old habits. Don't apologize. I've been meaning to ask. Your apartment, your things, everything you left behind. My team retrieved what they could, but I wanted to know if there was anything specific. I don't want any of it. That life is over. I'd rather start fresh. He nodded, accepted it without pushing. Ryan would have pushed, would have told her she was being emotional, irrational, wasteful. There is something, she admitted. My mother's necklace, a small gold cross. Ryan kept it when I left, said if I wanted it back, I'd have to come get it myself. Do-hyun's expression didn't change. I'll make some calls. You don't have to. I want to. He stood. Juno talks about you constantly, you know. Miss Mira said this. Miss Mira taught me that. Miss Mira makes the best pancakes, even though he means Yuna's pancakes, which he just eats with you. He's a good kid. He's the best part of me. When his mother left, I thought I'd failed him completely. I built walls so high I couldn't even see him over them. And then you came along and he started climbing. He did that himself. He did it because you made him believe someone would catch him. Good night, Miss Santos. Quote 125. Mira. Quote 126. If Juno calls me Mira, you can too. Quote 127. Good night, Mira. Quote 128. The cross has been recovered. Quote 129. Ryan didn't surrender it willingly, but my associates were persuasive. He handed her a small box. Inside, nestled in velvet, lay her mother's necklace, the gold cross she'd worn at her confirmation, the last piece of her before Ryan had tried to erase everything she was. She couldn't stop the tears. Didn't try. Do-hyun stood there uncertain while she cried. Then, slowly, he reached out and rested his hand on her shoulder. Just that, just warmth and presence, and the message, I'm here. Thank you, she managed. You're welcome. Quote 132, there's something else. My security team flagged activity. Ryan made bail in the U.S. He's been making calls. My name came up. What does that mean? It means he's not done. He's reaching out to anyone who might have leverage. Business rivals, tabloids, anyone who'd pay for information about the mysterious woman living in my home. She should run. She should pack a bag right now and disappear before she became a liability, before Juno got hurt, before... Don't. I know that look. You're calculating how to leave without being noticed. I should, before this gets worse, before he uses me to hurt you or Juno. He won't. You don't know that. I know that I've spent the last 3 weeks watching my son come back to life. I know that I've spent the last 3 weeks noticing when you enter a room. I know that if you left, it wouldn't protect us. It would break us. Do-hyun, I have a proposal, a public engagement, announced formally. It would control the narrative. Any story Ryan sells becomes jealous ex-fabricating lies about a happy couple. My legal team can use it to strengthen the protective order. And, quote 144 and, quote 145. And Juno asked me again this morning if you were staying forever. I didn't have an answer. I'd like to have one. Quote 146, an engagement. Quote 147, a fake engagement. Quote 148. If that's what you need it to be. His voice dropped. It doesn't have to be. What are you saying? I'm saying that I've never been good with words. I build things. I solve problems. I don't know how to tell someone. He broke off, frustrated. You make my son speak. You make my house feel like a home. You make me want things I'd convinced myself I didn't deserve. I don't know if that's love, but it's more than I've felt for anyone in years. She should say no. She should be careful. She should protect herself the way she'd learned to protect herself. Instead, she reached up and laid her hand against his cheek. Okay, she said. Okay. Okay, I'll do the engagement. And okay, we can figure out the rest together. And okay, quote 156, Daddy's kissing Miss Mira. Juno's delighted shriek split the evening. They broke apart, breathless. Do-hyun's ears were red. Mira was laughing. Is she staying forever now? Juno demanded, running up to them. Do-hyun looked at her. She nodded. Yes, Juno. Do-hyun's voice was rough. She's staying. I knew it. I told you, Daddy. I told you she was the one. You were right, brave one. I'm always right. He grinned. Can we have cake now? The engagement went public 3 days later. Press conference, cameras, a ring, simple platinum, single sapphire, Juno's birthstone, that Do-hyun slipped onto her finger while flashbulbs exploded like stars. Mira smiled when prompted. Do-hyun answered questions with his usual clipped precision. Juno sat in the front row and waved enthusiastically every time the cameras turned his way. By evening, the internet had exploded. Headlines screamed, "Ghost CEO engaged to mystery teacher." Photos surfaced, old yearbook pictures, speculation about green cards, gold digging, corporate manipulation. And then Ryan started talking. Exclusive interviews, tearful confessions about his troubled ex who'd run away when he'd tried to help her. Anonymous tips about her instability. Fabricated screenshots of texts she'd never sent. The comments sections turned vicious. Mira scrolled through them that night, stomach churning, until Do-hyun took the phone from her hand and set it aside. Stop, he said. I can't. It's everywhere. And in 48 hours, it'll be old news. That's how these cycles work. What if they believe him? Then they're fools. Quote 173. The truth is documented, police reports, hospital records, financial trails showing his obsession. My legal team is releasing it all tomorrow strategically to outlets that will ask the right questions. You're going to war for me? I'm going to war for us. You, me, Juno. That's what matters. The rest is noise. She leaned into him. His arm came around her, steady and warm. "When did you get so good at this?" she murmured. "I'm not. I'm terrified. I've never been responsible for someone else's heart before. Juno's is different. He's my son. But you—" He turned her face toward his. "You chose this. You could leave at any time. That makes it matter more. I'm not leaving, I know, but I'm still going to spend every day making sure you don't want to. You think you've won." Ryan's voice, slurred and venomous. "You think your rich boyfriend can protect you?" Her blood froze. "Don't call again. I'm coming for you. I don't care how long it takes. You're mine, Mira. You'll always be mine." Quote 188. "He's escalating," she said. "I know." Do-yun crossed the room, pulled her into his arms. "He's making mistakes. Desperate people make mistakes. We use them. And if he gets through, if he hurts Juno or you, or—" "He won't." "You can't promise that. I can promise that I'll die before I let him touch either of you." The words hit like a physical blow. She looked up at him, saw the certainty in his eyes, the cold fury beneath the calm. "Do-hyun, I love you." The words came out raw. "I didn't plan to say it like this. I had a speech, something about how you changed everything, how Juno's not the only one you brought back to life. But right now, with him threatening you, all I can think is that you need to know, in case—" "Stop." She pressed her fingers to his lips. "There's no in case. We're going to be fine. All of us." She replaced her fingers with her mouth. The kiss was fierce, desperate, a declaration as much as his words had been. When they parted, she whispered against his lips, "I love you too." A crash from downstairs shattered the moment. Alarm screamed. Do-yun shoved her toward the panic room. "Juno's room. Get him. Go. It's clear. Open up." She keyed in the code. Do-yun stood there, disheveled, a bruise forming on his jaw, but alive, whole. "Ryan?" she asked. "In custody. He got past the outer perimeter, but not the inner. My security team handled it." He crouched down, opened his arms. Juno launched himself at his father. "You're okay. You're okay, Daddy." "I'm okay, buddy. I promised, didn't I? I promised I'd always come back." "It's over," she whispered. "It's really over. Chaos, Mrs. Kang. I understand you don't approve of me." "Approve?" The woman's laugh was ice. "You're a nobody, a teacher, a victim. My son could have anyone, and he chose damaged goods. Your grandson chose me first, and your son chose to respect his son's judgment. Maybe you should try it." The older woman's eyes narrowed. "I could destroy you. One word to the right board members, and—" "And what? You'd hurt Do-hyun's company to punish me? You'd damage Juno's stability to prove a point?" Mira stepped closer. "I've survived worse than you. I've survived fists and threats and a system designed to crush me. You're a bully with a pedigree. I've faced real monsters." She turned toward the door. "You can leave now, and you can come back when you're ready to be a grandmother to Juno instead of an obstacle. The choice is yours. Tone it down. I promise to choose you every day, in every storm. I promise to stay. I promise to deserve that choice every day, in every storm. I promise to be worthy, and I promise to be the best kid ever, so you don't get bored and leave." Laughter rippled through the small gathering. Mira knelt down, pulled him close. "I'm never leaving, brave one. You're stuck with me." "Good." He beamed. "Can we have cake now?" They had cake. They had dancing. They had a future that, 3 months ago, Mira couldn't have imagined. That night, after Juno was asleep and the guests were gone, Mira stood on the balcony overlooking the garden. Do-hyun found her there. Mrs. Kang, he said, testing the name. She laughed. That's going to take some getting used to. We have time, all the time in the world. He asked me to marry you, you know, that first day, before I even knew your name. He has good instincts. He has his father's stubbornness. Do-hyun's chest vibrated with a laugh, and his father's terrible taste in opening lines, apparently. Thank you for believing me, for fighting for me, for letting your son's crazy proposal turn into this. Thank you for saying yes. He kissed her, slow and certain, under the stars. Somewhere in the house, Juno was dreaming. His new mother was staying. His father was happy. The bad men were gone. And tomorrow there would be pancakes. Lovely viewers, thank you for staying until the end. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to believe in second chances. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a story. And remember, sometimes the bravest thing a child can do is speak, and sometimes the bravest thing we can do is listen. Until next time.